In the review article, there is title, abstract, and keywords. So this is the part of our title page. In the main section, there is introduction, main body of the paper, then conclusion and the future perspectives, and acknowledgement, and then references. So one thing you should clear that in the review article, there is no methodology, there is no result section, there is no discussion section. All things we need to present from the existing researches and under the different topics, different issues in the main body of the paper. Rest of the part are the as per our research paper. So first of all, title of your review paper. Now the topic of your review, that is the main, or you can say broad area. Now title, that is the concise, you can say statement about our review. So we need to write a effective and suitable title, abstract and keywords. This is about the title page. Because title pages information will maximize the visibility of your paper in the online database so that the reader can find your work easily. And these information, title, abstract, and keywords are available to all the audience freely in all the databases. Sometimes the complete paper may not be, you can say, downloadable for all the researchers, because sometimes we publish our paper under the subscriptions. So there is no option to download freely. But title, abstract, and keywords are the freely available. We need to impress the audience from these information so that this information should be very clear, concise, appropriate, and informative, so that we can convince the audience through this title page information to opt our research paper, to opt our review paper. Now the keywords. When we talk about the keywords, so we need to select the strong keywords of our research domain. Because when you are using the online database, everyone is used to search the articles using the keywords. So if you have selected the strong keywords of your domain, then your paper will appear in the top when anybody searched in the online database. Then authors. Include the genuine authors in your review paper. That is very important. All the affiliation details should be clearly spelled out along with the contact information or the email of the authors. And full information should be in the title page. Because when we submit our paper to any good journal, then title page is separately uploaded. So these information must be on the title page. Next main part, that is the abstract. So abstract is about the first impression. To submit an article, very firstly, the technical person or editor will see the abstract. Any expert, any reviewer will see your abstract. And when the journal call any reviewer, they share the abstract of your paper. If your abstract is not good, then it may lead to the rejection of your paper at the early stage without reviewing the paper. So that your abstract must be effective. And no citation should be there in the abstract. Your abstract must be reflect the complete paper. That is very important. It may be structured or the unstructured. That is depending upon the requirement of a journal. We need to follow the guideline of that journal, because when we are writing a paper, so we have already target a particular journal. And if you have not selected the journal at the early stage, then you can write your abstract as per your choice. But before submission, you need to format according to the guideline. That is very important. Abstract should be, you can say, from 200 to 300 words for a review paper. But when you are submitting your paper to the journal, so there may be some specific limit. So you can maintain your abstract within that particular given limit. And you should comply the limit of the words in the abstract that is according to the journal where you are submitting your article. So there is two example, means what we have to include in the abstract of a review paper. In the abstract, first thing is importance and the introduction of the topic. Then the journal methodology is in a summary form. Then what is your contribution in this paper? Because in the review paper, we are not doing the research. We are just compiling the information. We are providing a discussion, depth discussion of the existing researches. So what is our contribution here? And then implications of this paper or your, you can say, article. There is another example of a review paper abstract. So here you can also see importance and introduction, then summary, and then contribution and the implications of the writing this review. Now, main part is the introduction. In introduction, we need to explore what and why. What is the topic and why we are addressing it? That is very important to write in the introduction. Two primary questions. Means first is about the topic, and second is importance of that topic. You need to answer in this section. And your answer to these questions, that is totally depend which type of the review you are writing. So what and why, and then moving to the type of review paper, which type of review you are addressing here. So type of review paper, that is you need to identify in the sense which kind of the review you are writing. Means it must be clear to you when you start your writing the introduction. Never forget that you are writing for the readers. Just publication is not the target. After publication, the citation and the audience, that is also important for a paper. And I think you all are know that review paper get more cited than the research paper. So it is valuable for us to attract the readers. So when you are writing anything or any information in your paper, then never forget to consider your reader. Think about your readers, what they want to see in your paper, which type of the information they are looking for. So provide the such type of the information. The length. You are going to write the full review or the mini review. This particular, you can say, criteria will decide the length of the introduction part. So generally, introduction section should be up to 1.5 pages maximum. But according to the length of your paper, it may be vary. But there is no need to write unnecessarily to extend the length of your paper. The introduction must be short and concise. So never extend your introduction more than 1.5 pages. And important thing is, do not try to put each and every information in this part. No separate headings. Sometimes the researcher or scholar used to some headings in the introduction section. So if you are a researcher and you are writing a review paper, your research paper, any thesis, synopsis, in the most of cases, the introduction does not contain any heading. It is the just introduction without any heading. Tell a story. That is very important. Give the importance of your topic. Seek the attention of your readers to create the interest. tell everything in the story. Cohesion and coherence. That is very important. Comply with the basic principle of cohesion and coherence. When you start writing, do not jump from the one topic to the another immediately. Present a detailed introduction to your research, which is published in the chronological order in your own word. From the beginning to the till date, you need to provide some information in the introduction. Do not summarize the published literature. Do not make a summary. In introduction, you should encourage the reader to read your complete paper. So your words should be very effective, interesting to the reader. So in the introduction part, what we have to do, identify the general topic, general issues and area of the concern from your selected topic. And point out, first thing is overall trends published about the topic. Any conflict in the theory, in methodology, evidences and the conclusions, gap in the research, gap in the knowledge, a single problem or the new perspective for the immediate interest. After reviewing, or you can say providing the information of the existing researches, you need to provide some prospective area, prospective topic for the further researches. You need to point out and establish your reason for reviewing the literature. Why you are reviewing this for a topic or the literature. Explain the criteria you use to analyze the literature and how you organize the review. Means what is the organization, which thing you have included, and state why certain literature is or is not included if necessary. Sometimes we exclude some literature, or sometimes we include all the literature. So we need to write why we are including the particular literature in the paper. After introduction, the main body of the paper. And main body means we need to analyze each and every component in the selected topic from the different selected papers, one by one. That is the main body of the paper. Various topic to discuss with the critical issues. So make sure you present a critical discussion, not a descriptive summary of the topic. Sometimes we wisely select the topic or the component in the main body, but we fail to provide the critical discussion. We just write a summary of the informations from the different papers. That is not valuable for the scholars. That is not valuable for our readers. The reader is looking for the descriptive summary of the information. So if there is any contradictory research in your area, so verify to include an element of the debate and present both side arguments. And one more thing, when you are selecting the papers, never select the paper of the low quality journals, any conference paper, any local publisher. Select your paper from the international journals having good impact factor. You can select only the few paper from any, you can say, conferences or any Scopus index paper where you are failed to find some good paper from the top journals, and you need some similar paper to support any discussion. So in such case, you can opt the few paper, but you need to check the validity of that article. Sometimes in conferences, even in Scopus paper, you will find the published article, there is no addition or the no new thing is presented. So try to avoid the such type of the papers. A good review paper can solve the conflict between the contradictory work. Sometimes we find some resources that are the contradictory. But if you are the expert, you have gone through the complete information of the topic, of the domain, then you can present a critical discussion with the available information to resolve the conflicts among the researcher on a particular topic. But skill is required. You need to analyze the information. You need to discuss with the supervisor. You need to discuss with the guide, and then only can you provide a critical discussion. So this type of the discussion very important in the review paper. The key approach when we are writing the main body of the review article. So first is you are analyzing and the synthesizing the article you have read. That is very important. Your paper should not be a list of summary. Each paragraph should address a concept, not a author. We have to follow the writing in such a way that we are addressing that concept from the selected area, not what author have done this author have done this author have done this. This type of the practice should be avoided in the review paper. And after main body, the conclusion is there. So we should write the conclusion because we have defined some objective at the earlier stage in our planning, in our outlining. So we can draw the conclusion on the basis of our complete review. And conclusion provides the result of your complete review in very concise way. In conclusion, we should avoid any vacuum statement. Always remember, conclusion should never contain any reference. Conclusion section and abstract section, there is no citation should be included. So in a review paper, you should leave a clear message to the reader about what they can understand from the review paper. What still remain a requirement for the future research in that particular area of your research, of your review paper. This can include making the suggestion for the future scope on a theme as a part of your conclusion. Means you can explore the few area, few topic, few parameter so that the new researcher can extend the research. You should develop the conclusion by briefing the restating the rationale for your review and the purpose of your review writing. You should also discuss the implications of your review findings, where you can think that your paper is useful for the society or for any other researchers, and where the further research can be extended. In conclusion, summarize the major contribution. Point out the major methodology flaws or any gap in research, any inconsistency in the theory, or scope for the future study. You can conclude by providing some insight into the relationship between the central topic of your literature review and large area of the research domain. That is, you can say, leave the good message on the reviewer, editor, and the audience. If you are correlating, or you can successfully correlate the topic of your review and the main domain of the research. In the references, cite references at the appropriate place. Reference must be written as per the guideline of the journal. And in references, a single error, it may be a punctuation error, may lead to the rejection. Your references should be at the end of the paper. The number of references in review paper is usually high. It must be current and updated. Means your paper should be current and updated papers. Minimum 10-year references must be covered to make a balanced review. And do not avoid the important historical references. And do not include the excessive old references in your review paper. So in writing your review paper, use the evidences. That is very, very important because every stage you need to support your interpretations. So provide the backup from the literature. Be selective. Select only the most important point of the each source to highlight the review. And when we are writing a review paper, we have the number of research paper in our hands. So each and every point or everything of the any review paper, research paper is not feasible to include. So that only select the important point to highlight in your. Then use the quotas carefully because sometimes we need to copy and paste some technical term, any formula. So you can use the quota to avoid the plagiarism. If you are taking any terminology, so you need to make the some terminology in the quotations with the proper references. And do not use the excessive quotas. That is also important. Only use where you feel that is important or necessary. Summarize and the synthesize. As we all know, the review papers are the summary, or you can say written from the different research papers, but it is not the summary. So you need to synthesize the informations. Keep your own voice. So take the information from every source, but write each and everything in your own voice. That is very important. Then use caution when paraphrasing. Sometimes when we take the information from other sources, we use some paraphrasing tools or prefer to paraphrase. So if you are utilizing any tool, then make sure that paraphrasing did not or does not change the meaning of your sentences. Meaning should not be used. And there is two common mistakes to avoid when we are writing a review paper. First is sources in your literature review not clearly related to your research problem. Means you have selected a review topic. So all the paper you have selected for your literature review must be relevant to your topic. That is very important. Note takes sufficient time to define and identify the most relevant sources. Means we have to conduct a survey for the literature and then we need to identify the most relevant sources of our domain. Inclusion of the secondary sources. You should prefer only the research paper that are the primary sources. Secondary sources means a review paper. If you are writing a review paper, never include the review papers in the reference list. Accept the researcher findings and interpretations without examining the critically. As I told, the so-called papers, they do not have any validity of their research outcome. If you are accepting all the finding and interpretations provided by such so-called papers, then you may write a wrong. You may writing a wrong. So to avoid this thing, you need to consider only the reputed journal paper. Not describe the search procedure or used in the identifying means any how we search the papers, what source we use. So you may write this information properly in your paper. Report any statistical results rather than the synthesizing them. Sometimes scholars just provide a statistical results comparing the different outcomes from the different literature, but they fail to synthesize. So this is also a mistake. Only include the research that validate the assumptions and does not consider the contrary finding and alternative interpretations found in the literature. So you should avoid the researches, those who only the assumption based. And never forget to provide the interpretations you have found in the literature from the different sources and provide proper evidences. So thank you. This is the just a brief information of writing a review paper.